just nasty, mean girl. Nasty Girl on Camera by Gunner start playing, please. I remember when I go on my little 16 bootleg runs, I would literally always pick out the episodes that the khaki barn was like the main center, or I knew it was going to be in the episode a lot, because I freaking adored the clones. I don't know why. Jonesy and Jude were too dumb for Wyatt. Wyatt deserved better friends than them. I hated when I laughed at anything that this misogynistic loser had to say. I don't understand how the Big Squeeze stayed in business when they only sold lemonade. Like, yeah, all of these characters are actually a little stupid. They're 16, okay? We're all stupid when we were 16. America was not about to do all that work to try to fix 16, okay? 16-year-olds don't run the mall. They don't.
What's up, dudes? My name is Jude Lazowski. I'm 16. I work at Stick It, and if anyone would like to help me overthrow the corrupt politicians in our daily life, I'd be so inclined to listen.
Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. I know the nails are showing that I've been going through it. I've not been in the best state because, you know, finals are coming soon. And I'm tired. I'm losing my mind, y'all. I'm losing my mind. Going to school in the pandemic is freaking stressful, okay? But I didn't even tell y'all who I was, because some of y'all just literally clicked on this video for the first time and you're just like, what is this girl talking about? Hey y'all, I'm Harriyanna and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the pirate ship. We don't call it the channel. This is a pirate ship. The pirate ship. Harry Hook's pirate ship. You're in for something. I don't know what you're in for, but you're in for something. I hope you enjoy your time here on this pirate ship. It might be a smooth ride. It might be a bumpy ride. Today's gonna be a smooth ride because we're actually talking about something that I like for once, okay? Because y'all stay talking about that I don't like nothing, and I felt like it was being a little too negative over here on the pirate ship, and I want to talk about something that I actually enjoy. But before we even get into today's video is sponsored by, you already know, the Coldest Water. The Coldest Water is a company that sells insulated water bottles. As you guys have been listening, I have been dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress lately, and drinking cold water is like one of the best solutions for me. It's just something that's always really been helpful for me, and I hated it when I was like in high school and I would have to carry around like a frozen, like, you know how you put the water in the freezer and then just take the bottle out and bring it around with you, and it'd just be really messy. It would get all over my papers and make them wet. The sweating, and with this I don't have that issue, and I really wish I did have one of these bottles when I was in high school. If you guys are interested in this product, especially for those who like have similar issues with anxiety like I do, you drink cold water to help stay calm, I will have the link to the Coldest Water's website down below. And like, I'm gonna be sipping this a lot in this video because I can see why people be drinking now when they do videos, because I'm this close to doing that. In college in a pandemic, I'm gonna go buy some wine and pour it in here. Then I remember I still live in my mama's house, and my parents don't allow drinking in here. So yeah, I don't even drink. What am I talking about? What am I even talking about? I don't even drink. But you know, I might make an exception today. I might take a shot or something because Harriyannahook going through it, okay? I know pirates be drunk and whatnot. You know, pirates like to drink. Am I about to be that pirate? Who knows? Who knows? I can see why Sarah said always be drinking in her videos, because I'm just like, ooh. But if you're new here, we got to get back into this. I am Harriyannahook. I like to make videos based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that surround that. Sometimes we don't even just talk about issues. Sometimes we just talk about it for what it is. And one more announcement before we get into the video. Please go support me on Patreon if you can. I do a lot of exclusive behind the scenes content on there, and I do have a podcast. You guys please check that out. If you're a member of my Patreon, it doesn't matter what level tier you're a member on, you get to help me pick out my podcast topics. So yeah, that's something really cool. You guys should go listen to my podcast, by the way. I am going to be posting a lot more content on there in the weeks to come, most likely when finals week is over. And if you guys notice that I'm not really posting that much this month, it's because finals are freaking it's horrible. I'm tired. I want to drop out. I'm like this close to failing all of my classes because I'm just not. I can't. This pandemic, going to school in the pandemic is hard. But y'all did not come here to hear me complain about school, okay? We can say that for another time. Today we are here to talk about 16. We're here to talk about 16, one of my favorite shows of all time. As you guys know, I mainly just watch cartoons. Cartoons is my niche. That's what I really like to watch. I'm honestly really surprised that it took me this long to talk about 16 here on this channel, because I've had a really special connection with this show, and it's strange when I have a personal connection with something. 16 is one of those few things, and it's weird because this is one of those things that y'all always ask me to talk about, and I don't know why I keep going over it, because yes, I do enjoy you guys' requests. You guys send me good requests, but like, why did I keep skipping this? It doesn't even make sense. But now with like everything going on in my life, and I just doing a lot of self-reflecting. Also, Cheeto Man's gone. Great. I feel like now is like the perfect time to talk about this show, because today's going to be a very wholesome video. Wholesome to me, might not be wholesome to you. You may think I'm finding an issue with every single last thing, but today's video is going to be very wholesome. I think 16 is an amazing show. As you guys see in the title, it is a chaotic masterpiece, okay? It was a hot mess. It was a beautiful hot mess. It is up there with my favorite shows of all time. You guys know me. My top 3 favorite shows of all time are Teen Titans 2003, iCarly, and The Parkers. And I forgot I have to throw 16 in there. So I got top 4 favorite shows of all time, okay? Keep forgetting why this show was so special to me, and then I actually sat and reflected about what was going on to me at the time when I used to like be obsessed with it, and it all makes sense. Now, 16 came out during that era of when, like, you know, all like the Canadian cartoons was airing reruns in America. Like, you remember that era? It was probably like between 2007 and like 2013 when all the Canada shows were coming over and airing on American like television. Like, it wasn't even just Cartoon Network. Disney Channel was doing this too, and so was Nickelodeon. And Discovery Kids. Discovery Kids actually was one of the first people to do it. They were doing it from the beginning, like when the shows would like first come out. And then they came to America. Discovery Kids was actually ahead of their time. Before My Little Pony, okay? Not Discovery Kids. Discovery Family. Whatever. They changed that. The Hub. Whatever them people are called. As you guys know, I talk about it all the time, how when I was in middle school, I really had no friends like that. So the only thing I really had was like a TV. Like, TV was just all that I really had. I would come home, turn on my TV. I'd probably come home, try to do homework, and not really get nothing done because like I had like such a hard time concentrating on it. I'd clean up, do my chores, and get on the internet and just watch TV. And I noticed 16 was one of the main shows I looked forward to when I came home every day. Because at the time, I couldn't really watch TV like that. I was not allowed to watch television Monday through Thursday. But I could Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was limited to how long I could watch it on Fridays. Yeah. But 16, like, I noticed that if I was... I would sneak and watch the show. Like, if I would like kind of negotiate with my parents, I'm like, hey, so if I get this and this and this done today, can I watch TV? And I'm like, fine, whatever, you can only watch it for 30 minutes. And I always use my little 30 minutes to go watch 16. And I remember Cartoon Network unfortunately stopped airing the show, so if I couldn't watch it on the TV, I just watch it on the computer. My parents didn't know I was watching TV on the computer. I would just watch 16 reruns on freaking bootleg on YouTube where it'd be in 3 different parts, or I'd watch it on Watch Cartoons Online. Oh, I really got obsessed with 16 when I had my falling out with Total Drama, and there will be another Total Drama video coming soon because you guys really did like my last 2. And yeah, so I'm gonna keep talking about Total Drama. Yeah, so this is like when I had my little falling out with Total Drama. As you know, this is when they announced Pikachu Island, like when they said the original cast wasn't coming back for the next season. I just kind of fell out with it, and then I just went full on for 16 because I was just like, I am in love with this show. Like I said, the show is a chaotic masterpiece. As you guys know, I was obsessed with this show in middle school. The show ended during my first year of middle school, so it was like I just kind of lived off the reruns. I didn't even realize the show was that old because it doesn't really feel that old because, like, you know how America is, how they censor so many of the episodes. A lot of the episodes I didn't watch were until after the show's run, when they just put them all online on bootleg. I watched the show in middle school and fell in love with it. I rewatched it when I was a senior in high school and fell in love with it all over again. And I realized that this show was actually really, really underappreciated. And it's like there's no other show out here like this. It's so nice to see a cartoon specifically made for teenagers. Like, yes, we had Daria, but Daria and 16 are not similar at all. Like, basically it shows about teenagers doing stupid teenage stuff, but Daria was more calm, while, like I said, 16 is more chaotic. And I rewatched the show my senior year of high school, and then I rewatched it when I started going to college. And I love the show a lot more now than I did as a kid. Thing about 16 now is that even though like I said, I enjoyed it a lot more when I got older, like when I actually started getting grown and actually started working a job and whatnot, the show actually is a bit more realistic now to people in their early 20s than it is as teenagers. I'm sorry, especially like I was not allowed to have a job. I was not allowed to work when I was a kid. Like, when I was 16, I tried to work. Nobody would hire me. The mall wasn't really hiring 16-year-olds like that. It just wasn't realistic. It just wasn't realistic for the most part. It might have been realistic like that up in Canada, but here in Atlanta, 16-year-olds don't run the mall. They don't. Like I said, how this show was actually, it's more kind of realistic to people in their 20s. The show, honestly, wasn't very realistic for me as a teenager, as I grew up in like a really sheltered household where the only thing I could do was go to school, go to gymnastics, and that was like limited to like once a week, and then I'd come home. And I remember I literally had to beg my parents to let me do drama club so I could have something, because I really loved acting and I really loved performing. And gymnastics just wasn't cutting it. Gymnastics 1 day a week wasn't really cutting it for me. I needed something else to do. The time I really go anywhere was like to the public library, and I used to go to the oh god, I used to go every single week so I can get out the house like on the weekends, because Saturday and Sunday, like all my classmates would be talking about how they be doing fun things on the weekend and their parents pay for them to do this and that and that, and we were really tight on money at the time, so I really couldn't do much of anything. But yeah, I was so, like I said, I didn't really have any friends in school. Like, I did have some friends with gymnastics, but it was like a lot of age difference. Like, a lot of the people were older than me and a lot of people were younger than me. So I didn't really kind of have anybody my age except for a few people. And I only saw those people like once a week, and then they eventually stopped coming. And like the only time I really went out was when I said I'd go to the public library, or if my parents needed to go run errands or go grocery shopping, and I just came with them because I just didn't want to be alone. 16 meant a lot to me because I was wondering what it would have been like to live life like that as a teenager, because a lot of what goes on in the show, like them having all that freedom, I didn't get that until a few years into college. Like, it's funny how like the show, I was rewatching it and I was just like, this is me now. Like, I have a job and I actually have friends and yada yada yada. Like, it's a pandemic. It's kind of sucks how I was finally able to get like the life like how it was at 16. And then, you know, the pandemic happened, so I can't really, like, see my friends like that. But I still have a job, and I still, like, talk to my friends on the phone and whatnot. But actually, like, face-to-face, yeah, I miss my friends. I miss having friends. Before I even get any further, like, what even is 16 about? 16 literally is a show about 6 teenagers that are 16 years old, and they work in a mall, okay? And it also is a Canadian television show. It takes place in Canada, not America. That's why a lot of the stuff they say in the show is kind of weird, and that's why the money looks a little weird too. It's because it's not American, it's Canadian. And think about it, it's like they're not 6 teenagers that work in the mall. This show is about 6 teenagers. Only 4 of them work. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. It did first come out in 2004, but it didn't really gain a lot of popularity in like 2006 and 2008 and 2009, because, you know, that was when all like we got the little the Canadian shows. That's when like Total Drama kind of like blew up, and then they started airing reruns of 16, and then 16 finished its run, and then it's like once 16 finished its run, they just got rid of it. Like I mentioned earlier, there were so many episodes that I did not see because like the American censorship, Canada literally did not care. They just went there with that show. There was nudity. There was a whole bunch of sex jokes in here. They went there with that show. They went there, okay? And America was just not having it. And I see how like in Total Drama, they censored a lot of the dialogue and cut out scenes and whatnot. 16, they just didn't air the episode. They just didn't air the episode. They was like, yeah, no, that's too much work. This show is too much. Like, I know 16 did like cut out certain scenes and whatnot, but no, America was not about to do all that work to try to fix 16, okay? Like, y'all think Total Drama was a hot mess? Go watch 16. It is a hot mess on fire when it comes to inappropriate content, okay? Like, I can understand why parents didn't want their kids watching this show, okay? And my parents never watched the show with me, by the way. I always watched it. They were not in the room, okay? When I watched the show, they were not in the room either when I watched Total Drama. But we're not here to talk about Total Drama, okay? One thing I always kind of hate is how you can't talk about 16 without bringing up Total Drama. But you can talk about Total Drama without talking about 16. But you know, here, we're here to talk about 16 and 16 only. It's basically about them working in the mall, as they also dealt with struggles with school, their family, life, work, whatever. Like anything that a 16-year-old person could go through, a 16-year-old child could go through, because a lot of y'all don't seem to get that 16-year-olds are children. Anything that a 16-year-old could go through while the stress of working in a mall, this show was it. I personally still don't see this show as a kid show. They try to label 16 as a kid show. I don't think it's a kid show. This show was ahead of its time, and I personally feel like this show would have killed if it came out nowadays than then. But it wouldn't be our cult classic, okay? 16 is a cult classic. Now, you know, we're getting to my favorite part of this episode where we talk about the character talk. Character talk is always my favorite part of doing these videos, where I talk about things that I like or I don't like. So yeah, we're gonna get into character talk, and first we're gonna talk about Miss Jen. Jen is my favorite character. I don't care. A lot of people hate Jen. They try to say she's like the most annoying character. I don't care. I love Jen. Jen is me. Okay. I'm actually Jen and the clones put together. I'm gonna explain that later though, okay? When we get to the clones, we'll talk about that. Right here, it's Jen time. Here it is Jen time. Now, Jen literally is kind of like the mom character of the group. She always tries to keep the order of the group. She literally stops her friends from doing stupid stuff, basically. Jen also was the only person that kind of like always had like a job. Where, okay, I said Caitlyn always had a job and the girls always had a job. It was the boys that struggled keeping jobs. But Jen worked at the Penalty Box, which was a sporting goods store, and it was basically Dick's Sporting Goods. It was basically Dick's Sporting Goods and Foot Locker. That's literally what the Penalty Box was. And every single every single store in this show is kind of like a parody of something that exists. Like, people tell me that I'm strange, and then I realize I'm literally a mix of Jen and the clones put together. Like, it works though. I feel like I have a perfect balance with that, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that when we talk about the clones. She's also Jonesy's stepsister. We're gonna get into Jonesy's later, and she could not freaking stand him, and it was so funny. I love watching their dynamic. I just love watching Jen and Jonesy go back and forth, but he was so mean to her for no reason. I don't know, I just feel like Jonesy just enjoyed bothering Jen. Okay, that's really just what it was. Like, Jen really just kind of wanted to get along with Jonesy, but he just would be pushing her to the edge, and she just be like, okay, I'm tired of you. I'm gonna start bothering you back, okay? Like, it was one episode where he just started pranking her for no reason, and he was mad that she started doing it back to him. I was like, well, see, when you do clownery, Jonesy, the clown comes back to bite. That's not surprising because Jonesy is a Trump supporter now, but she's also very caring of others, and she also likes to put people before her, which was kind of also like a flaw where Jen was honestly constantly worried about what her friends were up to. And I was like, Jen, baby, just focus on you, okay? Focus on you. Let them do stupid stuff on their own. Focus on you, baby, okay? Because of that, I can see why people thought she was mean and was a bit uptight, because she was just so caring about what everybody was doing. But sometimes, yeah, Jen did really need to mind her business sometimes. But like I said, just because Jen's my favorite character doesn't mean she's perfect, okay? Like, yes, that was a big flaw that she had, is that she always tried to act like she had it together when she didn't. When she did not. Like, she just needed to loosen up a little bit. Next character we're going to talk about is Caitlyn. Now, I actually don't hate Caitlyn. I don't hate her. I find Caitlyn really, really likable. Like, yeah, she was a little stupid. Yeah, all of these characters are actually a little stupid. They're 16, okay? We're all stupid when we were 16. But Caitlyn, she was a very sweet girl. Like, she was a little naive. But yeah, Caitlyn, really sweet girl. It's kind of like when we met Caitlyn in like the show's run, because Caitlyn literally had everything handed to her since she was a little girl. She didn't really have to start working for anything, and I think the show probably takes place over like 2 years after all those seasons. I think they're just 16 the entire time. I don't know. The ages always confuse me because I'm like, are they 16? Are they 15? Are they 17? I think Caitlyn was like 15 and then she turned 16, but over like the span of like these probably 2 years, I'd say the show ran, that's kind of like Caitlyn had a lot of growth within that time. To realize how short of a time span the show took place, she had a lot of growth, okay? She started out as just this spoiled rich girl that never had to work for anything a day in her life, and then she was just thrown and had her life changed that quick, where she had to figure out that you can't be spending your daddy's money all the time. You can't spend your daddy's money all the time. Caitlyn worked at the Big Squeeze, which basically was just a juice bar that sold lemonade and other drinks. I think they just sold lemonade. I don't understand how the Big Squeeze stayed in business when they only sold lemonade. Like, is there any company out here that stays in business by selling one thing? Like, y'all, please tell me. Please let me know, because I'm really curious to know that. I'm very, very curious to know how that works. I mentioned Caitlyn about how like she kind of just had her life change right there, where like her dad forced her to get a job and she literally had to get an entire new friend group. Also, that's one thing I really did love about Jen, is that Jen was really accepting of Caitlyn, while it did take a lot of the few others to like warm up to her, because I know Jude was really accepting of her too. But that's one thing about Jude, got along with everybody. Nikki really didn't care too much for her, and Wyatt just kind of like just tolerated her, but she was just there. And Jonesy, you know, Jonesy just don't care about nothing. He don't care about nobody but himself. Jen really did accept her for who she was. Like, she saw that this girl had, like, her friend group freaking dumped her. She doesn't know how to do anything for herself. Jen kind of just, like, stepped in and was like, okay, I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend. That's one thing I really did love about Jen. I really did. That's one thing about the show I really enjoyed was Jen and Caitlyn's friendship. And at the time, I really, really wish I had a friend like that. I didn't have happy middle school time, okay? I didn't have a happy middle school. Her friends literally freaking dropped her. And I said, I felt like Caitlyn was just trying to find her place in this world. But, like, she's 16, y'all. She's 16, okay? Losing your friends and being forced to get a job when you never know how to do anything, much of anything for yourself, is a lot, okay? Remember, she's 16. It's a lot. Thing that got on my nerves about Caitlyn and Jen too is that they could not keep a boyfriend to save their life. Every like 3 episodes they was talking to a new guy. Every 3 episodes they was liking a new guy. Every 3 episodes they was dating a new guy. Every 3 episodes they was kissing a new guy. I was just like, why can't they have somebody? Like, it's realistic for kids to just have one person. I probably wouldn't even have cared if they stuck with one guy and they dated him on and off and on and off. I don't know. I found that really, really freaking annoying. But it's also realistic because there are a lot of girls out here that be going through boyfriends just like that. And I was like, so you mean to tell me that Caitlyn and Jen went through like 10 boyfriends in 2 years? Like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that because the boys didn't even really date that many girls. Like little Jonesy. Jonesy was a hoe though. We don't count him. But like neither Jude or Wyatt went through that many girls. Like, yeah, Wyatt dated a few girls here and there. But Jude, Jonesy hoe. But like these two could not. Oh my god, I was just like, I just wish the show didn't focus so much on them trying to get attention from boys. I really would have liked it if they just kind of like just stayed, like we saw a lot of more growth with them just as characters. But the episodes where they actually are going on dates are funny. They are really freaking funny. They actually are some of the highlights of the show because when we get to see them interact with boys, they like, it's funny. It's just funny for no freaking reason. I don't know. Caitlyn and Jen are just freaking hilarious, especially Caitlyn. Caitlyn kind of reminds me of like Gretchen Wieners and Karen Smith put together, but she leans more towards Gretchen in the end. Like, she starts out as a Karen and she goes to a Gretchen. Moving on from Caitlyn, we're talking about somebody I don't like now. We're talking about Jonesy. Jonesy deserves nothing. Jonesy literally is like the scum between my toes. Jonesy is like a Mal. Jonesy's a Mal, okay? He's up there with Mal characters I don't like. Y'all know it's the pirate ship. You know we drag Mal every chance we get. Even when it's something that has nothing to do with her, we're gonna drag Miss Malbertha. I don't care. I don't care. We're still gonna drag Mal regardless. No, I'm not gonna lie. Jonesy's trash, but I got a lot of my laughs from him. I hate it, but they gave Jonesy some of the funniest one-liners in the show, okay? They gave the most trash character the best lines, okay? They gave them to him. And I wish they did it because I hate it when I laughed at anything that this misogynistic loser had to say. Jonesy literally sucks booty hole. I cannot. He was also a really big pervert. He, like I said, I mentioned how he was a hoe earlier. It's nothing wrong with being a hoe, by the way, y'all. Do what you please. But no, Jonesy was just a perv. Jonesy was just a perv. He always be hitting on girls, always hooting and hollering at them. It'd be like this one older woman, Yummy Mummy, that he just kind of like had a thing for. Oh my gosh, Jonesy's just gross. He's just really, really gross. He couldn't keep a job to save his life. It also kind of bothers me that it's actually really problematic how, it reminded me of Austin and Ally, how the one Latino character couldn't keep a job, and that's what it was like here in 16. It was like that here in 16. The one Latino character couldn't keep a job, so that really rubbed me the wrong way. I felt like they could have did a lot better with that. But yeah, that this show does have flaws though, y'all. I'm gonna acknowledge them. I will acknowledge that is a big flaw, and that's one thing I don't like about it. As much as I don't like Jonesy, they could have I don't know. I don't really like that. But the thing about it is that they did it with Jude too, but we're not on Jude yet. We're still talking about Mr. Jonesy Garcia. Like I said earlier, it always just kind of bothered me why he would bother Jen so much. Like, Jen literally kind of just didn't want nothing to do with him. She was just like his friend. She couldn't, like, the thing about Jonesy is that, like, he was just always around her. And then they became step siblings. So it's just kind of like she couldn't get away from him. I just wish he left her alone. I just wish he left her alone. He literally made her life more difficult than it should be. And also, I did not like when him and Nikki dated. I did like it, but I didn't at the same time. But we're going to get into that later. Yeah, he's also Nikki's ex-boyfriend. I don't, like, oh, Jesus. That Nikki and Josie's relationship, it was a beautiful mess, I'd say that. It was. But we're going to get more into that because we have to go over Nikki's character first before we go over Jonesy's. But before we can go over Nikki's character, who is next on the list, we're going over Wyatt. Now, Wyatt, I don't want to spend too much time on Wyatt because I know I'm going to cry. Now, the funny thing about Wyatt is that we literally did a Cartoon Crushes bracket on live with me and some of my friends. I will link that video down below if you want to watch it. And all of us were shocked at the end that Wyatt won. Like, we literally were surprised. We were like, I did not think Wyatt would have won. He was the underdog. We didn't even realize he was going to make it that far. And then when it came down to the final two, we were like, Wyatt won. And we, you know what, it makes sense why Wyatt won. Wyatt was boyfriend material. But before we can get into that, I gotta tell you guys where he works. Wyatt had 3 different jobs. And to be honest, I think he was like the only dude that could hold down a job on this show. Because he either, he worked at the music store. Then he worked at the video store, which was basically Blockbuster. Then that closed. And then he ended up working at a fast food restaurant in the, food court. I'm forgetting mall terminology because, you know, the pandemic, we can't go nowhere. We can't go nowhere. But yeah, that's literally what Wyatt's job was. He had like a big love for music and he wanted to be like a popular musician. He was always playing on guitar. He was always writing songs, singing and whatnot. He was a really great overall guy. Now, I honestly noticed that like he wasn't really close with Jude or Jonesy like that. I personally think it's because they were a little too stupid for him. Jonesy and Jude were too dumb for Wyatt. Wyatt deserved better friends than them, but they were just a little too dumb for him. And he did get along with the girls better because, you know, their intelligence was up there with him. I really did enjoy him and Nikki's friendship. That's one thing I really, really loved about this show. It was boyfriend material. He was sweet. He was laid back. Sometimes he had a little attitude from time to time, but that's okay. We all do. He loved coffee. He was so nice, so down to earth. He loved music. He was in touch with his emotions. Wyatt was like the perfect boyfriend, okay? Wyatt was the perfect. Serena did not deserve Wyatt, okay? I know, I'm not really going to talk about Serena in the show because that's all I have to say about her. She was really, really cute. Yeah. Her and Wyatt's relationship was just annoying to me. I felt like she just didn't appreciate him enough. But then at the same time, they're teenagers, whatever, I don't care. But yeah, that's all I had to say about Serena. Didn't really care for her. Now, here's where it gets sad, okay? This video has honestly been really emotional for me to make because this show is just so hard-hitting for me. Okay. I don't want to cry saying this. I don't want to cry, but as you guys know, I went to a predominantly black middle school and high school. And I dealt with a lot of bullying. And most of this bullying came from black guys. And part of the reason why I love Wyatt so much, because I always just kind of pictured what it would be like to have a black guy in my life that wasn't like my friend, but like a guy that I like, be nice to me. Like, it's like people saying like middle school and high. No, there are people dying out here. There are like people dying out here. There are more people There, people are dying, Harriyanna, okay? Like, no one said that, like, boys didn't find you attractive, but, like, I never, like, it's when, like, men are extremely mean to you if they don't find you attractive, okay? And that's a lot of, like, the bullying I dealt with from black guys that I grew up with. It's because they found me really unattractive. So, I just really wish that I had like a black guy in my life that that had like some type of romantic interest in me. Be nice to me. So I'm gonna move on from Wyatt because it's getting a little too sad. Now we're going into Jude. Now Jude, I don't really care about Jude. I know Jude is like a fan favorite. I don't really care about him. He was just kind of there. He was like I don't know. He couldn't keep a job to save his life either. But the thing about Jude is that he didn't really get on my nerves like Jonesy did. He was also really, really nice. I gotta give Jude that. He was really, really sweet. He was always there for his friends and whatnot, even though he was a little dumb and he did stupid stuff that made no sense and whatnot. But Jude was a pretty good guy. Pretty good guy. He wasn't really selfish though. That's another thing I noticed about him. He was a pretty good guy for the most part. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Jude. Like I said, I don't care. I don't really care for his character all that much. I could tolerate Jude way more than I could tolerate Jonesy because Jonesy didn't know how to treat anybody with respect where Jude did. Like, Jude actually cared about people. Jonesy didn't. Next, we have Nikki. Y'all not gonna like me for this. I'm not too crazy about Nikki like all of y'all are. Nikki's cool. Yeah, I like her, but she's not my favorite. I'm Gen trash, okay? We are Gen hive over here. Nikki who? Okay, this is so weird, but not Jen, Nikki reminds me of like a younger Diane Wynn from Darth. Like, not Daria, BoJack Horseman. She reminds me of Diane Wynn. She's like Diane Wynn and Jade West put together. Those are like the two perfect characters I had to describe Nikki. That's literally who she is. Like, she's like Jade. Like, Jade and Nikki really, really remind me of each other before. You know how I feel about Jade, but because she does have similar characteristics to Diane, that's what makes me like her. But she wasn't my favorite though, because she still had like those Jade West tendencies, and this is before Jade West time. What am I talking about? No, Victorious literally came out the year the show ended. Was it the year it ended or the year before? I don't know, but around the time when 16 was coming to an end, that's when Victorious was made. Worked at the Khaki Barn, which was basically our Forever 21. She hates her job, like, no lie. She literally just works there because she wants money, and we've all done it. We literally all have worked a job that we don't like because we want the money. I understand, Nikki. I understand your pain. I loved when Nikki and the clones, who were her coworkers, I love when they just banter back and forth. I don't know, I just found it funny. They just be arguing over the dumbest stuff, but I thought it was really, really funny. So that's one thing I did love when a lot of the episodes did center on the Khaki Barn. I just love watching the girls go back and forth. It was just funny for no reason. I just really enjoyed it. Mainly funny because Nikki and the clones are nothing like each other. So it's like when they clashed, it was mainly because they had different personalities. And it was just really funny to see. Just really, really funny to see. Could have done way better than Jonesy, okay? Jonesy did not deserve her whatsoever. Jonesy did not deserve Nikki, okay? Oh, Jesus. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that relationship. We're going to get into that relationship later because I want to finish the character talk before I start talking about the other aspects of this show. Okay? Next, we get into Trisha. There's not really much to say about Trisha because Trisha was she was just basically your mean girl. Nothing much to her. Really nasty attitude. Real, just nasty, mean girl. Nasty girl on camera by Gunner. Start playing, please. But yeah, just pretty. Like, she had a cute character design. Pretty girl. Nasty attitude. Bad behavior. I really hated the way she treated Caitlyn. She did not deserve Caitlyn whatsoever. Caitlyn was so freaking sweet. Like, she literally stopped being her friend because she got a job. Like, Trisha never worked a day in her life, and she never worked at all throughout the show, from what I recall. But she literally just like pushed Caitlyn around the entire show. And I'm so happy that Caitlyn finally stood her ground and stood up to her and just finally cut her off. Y'all, let me put some lip gloss on. I didn't realize I was talking for this long. Anyway, we were talking about Trisha was next on this outline. Yeah, just stuck up witch girl. Basically it was annoying. Like, okay, I just wanted her to leave Caitlyn alone. It was so obvious that Caitlyn did not care about her. Caitlyn was just over her. She didn't want nothing to do with her, but she just kept bothering her every chance I get. Every chance she get, not I get. I would never do this to Caitlyn. But one thing that bothered me the most is that, like I said, like, when this show came to an end, this is when Victoria started. And it's weird because I was watching the show a lot when Victorious, like, was still airing a new episodes. Hold up. Oh, I'm sorry. TikTok just distracted me. Anyway, we were talking about Trisha, but I was like, it really reminded me of like Tori and Jade, where Caitlyn was Tori and Trisha was Jade, and she would always do things just to bother her. When, like I said, Tori has made it clear that she didn't care about Jade and she wanted nothing to do with her. That's literally what Caitlyn was doing. And like I said, it came off across as if Jade had a crush on Tori. That's really what it was seeming like with Trisha. It really just seemed like she liked Caitlyn, okay? Because she just would do anything to get her attention and to bother her, okay? That's the end of Trisha. That's all I gotta say about that girl. Next, we're getting into my favorite part. We're talking about the khaki girls, the girls that work at the khaki barn. The clones. I freaking adore these girls, okay? Like I said, I am a mix of Jen and the clones put together. You guys have been watching me. You can tell I'm literally Jen and the clones put together. I can, like, no. I remember when I go on my little 16 bootleg runs, I would literally always pick out the episodes that the khaki barn was like the main center, or I knew it was going to be in the episode a lot, because I freaking adored the clones. I don't know why. They were kind of like Caitlyn a little bit. Speaking of that, I really love the episodes when like Caitlyn did interact with the khaki barn girls, the clones, because they worked well together. I really did wish we get to see more of them together, but I truly loved, like, I loved them. They were just funny. They just did whatever. They just acted themselves. They were like extremely girly, over the top. They loved what they love and they didn't care. Main reason, like I said, like this video is really emotional because of like my special connection I have with this show. Oh my gosh. The way Nikki would treat them for talking about the things that they like, it really reminded me of the way people would treat me when I talked about the things I like. And that really, really bothered me. And that's part of the reason why I love the clone so much. Because when Nikki did that, I saw that in my life. I saw that in my daily life. And it was extremely sad. It was extremely sad. Yeah. But one thing I love about the clones that I didn't do that they did is that they actually stood up to Nikki, and they were like, you know what, you're not gonna talk to me like that. I don't care anything. And yes, they were wrong to Nikki a lot of the times. Nikki was wrong to them. They were wrong to her. It was just, like I said, it was just funny banter back and forth, okay? But yeah, this show hits home. It hits home. It hurts. This show freaking hurts. We're gonna talk about Starr. Starr was Jude's girlfriend. She literally was the girl version of Jude. She was like slightly smarter. No, she wasn't. She wasn't. I don't know. I liked Starr for the most part, mainly because I just thought her character design was pretty. She didn't really contribute anything. She was just there to be Jude's love interest. Everyone seemed to get along with her. She wasn't really an issue, not really problematic. Just a really chill, cool girl. Just really chill, cool girl. I hate how she technically kind of is the cool girl stereotype, kind of like the I'm not like other girl stereotype. But her and Jude were like a good mix for each other. They balanced each other out, even though she was literally the girl version of him. But yeah, I like Starr. I had nothing against her whatsoever. a character. I'd say that Darth was a freaking character. He was that nerd that didn't wear deodorant in class and you just stay away from. I don't think Darth was, I think Darth meant well. He just didn't know how to talk to people. That was my thing about Darth, and he was like the know-it-all type of nerds. That's one thing I can't stand, like know-it-all type of nerds. That's literally what Darth was, okay? And I can see why nobody liked him, okay? Because he was irritating. He didn't know when to shut up. He always took it too far. And I was just like, Darth, if you literally just stop thinking you were better than everybody and smarter than everybody, people may like you. People may like you, okay? Now, the last character we're going to be talking about is Ron Renacop. He was just A-cab. That's all I got to say about him. A-cab. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. A-cab. Now we're going to talk about what I don't like. As y'all know, this video long enough, but y'all, I'm going to talk about what I don't like. I did not like that zombie movie episode. Was it a movie? Was it an episode? I don't know. I hate that episode so much. It's not funny. It just felt really, really out of place. Like, I love 16 because I loved it because it was like a slice of life show. That zombie episode, like, this wasn't 16. It felt really, really weird. Everybody was just getting on my nerves in that video. And also, I really don't like the zombie genre in general. I don't like zombie movies. I find them really kind of dull. I find everything dull. It was just really, really gross to me too, okay? That's one thing I just did not like about the zombie episode, but I kind of like blocked it out of my memory. But then when I was looking at it, I was like, dang, that zombie episode did happen. And it's weird because the zombie episode is actually how I started watching 16. The zombie episode is actually how I found this show, and because I hated that episode so much, it's why it took me a minute to like get into the feel of the show, because I thought the entire show was like that. I thought it was entirely like that zombie movie. Like, this is when for people that didn't know, 16 actually came on Nickelodeon before it was a Cartoon Network show. And Nickelodeon aired that movie. And that was like the first time I ever seen anything about 16. And then they aired a few more reruns of it later. And I was just like, I don't like this. It's not my cup of tea. It's actually really, really disturbing. So that's why I just kind of like left 16 alone for a minute. And I'm glad I did give it another chance, because as you guys know, one of Harriyanna's top shows of all time. And I don't like Jonesy and Nikki's relationship. As I said, I just felt like Nikki was way too good for Jonesy. Jonesy was freaking bummy perv. Like I said, and he was like Mal Bertha up there with characters I hate. He belongs in the trash can. Now, with them together, like I said, I hated, like, Nikki was just okay to me. I liked her character, but she wasn't my favorite. And I hated Jonesy. The two of them together, it was cute, but so ugly at the same time. Like, when they were good, they were good. Like, when they were actually being a cute little couple. But when they were bad, because all they did was fight. Nikki would put her hands on him and whatnot. Like, y'all, I don't care. I'm tired of girls hitting their boyfriends, y'all. I know, like, I don't think anybody should be putting their hands on anybody in a relationship. I hate domestic violence whatsoever. But, like, Nikki would put her hands on Jonesy sometimes and call him stupid and whatnot. Like, Jonesy was stupid. I gotta get rid of him. But like I said, she was just, out of his league. Like, it was just so obvious that relationship wasn't working, but they kept trying to make it work. But let's be real, Jonesy and Nikki are your typical teenage relationship, okay? They fight, they argue, they break up, they get back together, they kiss, they make up, they do this for each other, they have their cute moments. Next thing you know, it fails, and you know what, they try that relationship again, doesn't work, and then it ends. Okay? Jonesy and Nikki, it's really realistic, okay? Even though, like I said, their relationship was played out to be very realistic. And that's another thing I really got to give this show props for. Like, yes, we knew from the beginning that Jonesy and Nikki were not going to work out. But we stuck through it and watched it anyway because we just wanted to see what they were going to do with it. Like, you know, bad decisions aren't always, bad decisions are not going to last. But you just have fun while it lasted, okay? Bad decisions, they're not always horrible. They're not always bad. Bad decisions are fun sometimes, okay? And sometimes we have to make bad decisions to learn about the better ones. Then the last thing I will mention, because this video is so freaking long. I think this might be my longest video to date. I am so sorry, y'all. But Last thing that got on my nerves about the show is the sexual innuendos. I'm sorry. I know that it's one thing a lot of people loved about this show, but sometimes it was just too much. Like, they just were doing too much sometimes. Like, it was really, really annoying. Like, I remember it was this one episode where Jen accidentally, like, her dress fell down, and Jonesy was, like, right in front of her the whole time, and it's like, ew, okay, this is actually really, really gross. Stop. And I remember there was another episode where Nikki was on the elevator and her dress literally ripped off and she was in the mall in her freaking bra and panties. And I was just like, okay, 16, y'all are doing too much. This is really freaking nasty. Like, okay. Am I watching Adult Swim? Am I watching Adult Swim? Because that's what it's starting to feel like. Okay, 16, what? Get it together with the sexual innuendos. Like, yes, the sex jokes were funny. But to a certain extent, it got really, really old really, really fast. Because, like, not all the episodes had that in there. The episodes that really aired in the US were the ones that kind of kept, like, the sex jokes to a minimum. But I can see why a lot of these episodes did not air in America, okay? It got really annoying. Like, because I'm like, okay, can we go through our episode without y'all putting this mess in here, please? Like, please stop. Please stop. But yes, that was... Yeah, I never realized how much of a personal connection I have to this show. And I really needed to make this video. I've just been dealing with a lot of stress and whatnot, and talking about things you hate can be draining sometimes. And I'm literally watching, I'm so mad that y'all picked the show I hated the most on that poll. I'm so mad that y'all picked the show I hated the most, okay? So... I've been rewatching that, getting that review ready. That's going to be a great video, by the way. It's going to be a great video, but it's so nice to just talk about something that actually means a lot to me. Something that I like. It's watching me gush over something that I like. Okay? Y'all literally did that. Thank you. You made it to the end of this video. If you made it to this part of the video, comment Harry loves Uma. Okay? Comment? Okay. I want you to comment Harry loves Uma. And then Harriyanna is the clones and Jen put together, okay? If you made it to this point in the video, comment those two things, okay? Okay? And like I said, please, you guys take care of yourselves. You guys are interested in the coldest water. I've been sipping this throughout this whole video because this video was just so emotional for me to make. The link would be down below. So, yeah, that's pretty much it I gotta say for today's video. This one, I really, truly enjoyed making this video. Like, my heart's all warm and fuzzy right now. Probably because it's midnight at the moment. And, you know, you be in your feels in midnight. Yeah, it's time to cut this video to end. This ride on the pirate ship was a little sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This ride on the pirate ship was a sad one. We didn't party today. We went to a jazz lounge and cried, okay? We didn't go to the club today. We didn't go to the reggae club on the pirate ship like we usually do. We went to the jazz club and cried. Thank you guys for watching. I truly do love and appreciate all of you. I'm still mind blown by it. I love you guys so much. And thank you for watching.